Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
Hi.
And it's just me, and I haven't done a solo episode in like 10 episodes. So I was like, fuck it, let's do this. Let me rant a bit. I was sitting at work on my break. I was reading some stuff on Twitter.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
I just so happened to come across a hashtag called Give Captain America a Boyfriend.
I don't get it.
I'll get directly to the hashtag, but in my mind, it made me think of all this forced diversity that we're having to stomach these days in our culture. Like, they need to diversify every intellectual property for the sake of diversity so they can seem progressive. And point one, years ago, there were like almost no gay characters on TV. So what did they do? Number one drama, Grey's Anatomy. They gayed up the living shit out of that show. They had like a lesbian couple and I think a couple of gay dudes and another lesbo. And not that there's anything wrong with being gay. If you know me, you know my motto is, if you're gay, that is A-OK. Big smile. Can't see it, but I'm doing it. All right? I'm cool with gay people the world over. If that's what you're into, love is love. But the fact they were just cramming all these gay characters down our throats, no pun intended, for the sake of diversity, it was really cheap and cheesy, and it didn't really add to anything. It infuriated the fan base, not because they had gay characters they didn't want, but because they had so many gay characters all of a sudden. Now, I don't know what the average, probably 1 in 5 people in America is gay or lesbian. Probably. So out of 400 million, that's 80 million people. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go 80 million. Sure, fuck it. I don't know. So they did it and there was backlash. And then they slowly but surely started to get rid of all the gay characters because even the gay community was like, okay, this is too much gay. You're just doing this and it's almost patronizing. Could you fucking stop? Could you stop gaying up everything? Every show suddenly had a gay character. And not just like a regular. They always had the stern and serious lesbian characters. And then the flamboyantly annoying gay male character. There was only 2 archetypes they ever chose. And it was stupid. Now, another example. Ghostbusters. We're never going to get a Ghostbusters 3. Egon's dead. Harold Ramis passed away. Bill Murray wants nothing to fucking do with it. On multiple occasions, he has taken scripts that were sent to him by Dan Aykroyd, and he shredded them and then sent them back as a message. Hey, let's not tarnish the legacy of our movie. And Bill Murray's always said, the opportunity to fuck this up and be awful in a 3rd installment is too high. I don't want any part of it. So what does the genius movie studio do? They hire Kevin Feige, and he decides to do an all-female cast. And it's not a reboot, it's a reimagining. So we have an all-female cast of Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones. And I'm just thinking to myself, why? Why are we doing this? Nobody wanted this. Everybody thought it was stupid. Then some time passed, and they come out with the trailer to this movie on YouTube. Most disliked movie trailer in the history of YouTube. What does that tell you about fan backlash? I thought it was fucking stupid, and then I watched the first trailer. I was like, oh, that actually looks kind of funny. And then I realized the rest of the world was like, no, that looks fucking retarded. So it gave me pause for thought. I will watch it on Redbox only because I think it is the stupidest idea that they're doing that. I mean, they even flipped the Janine secretary character to be a guy, and it's big muscle hunk Thor himself, whatever his fucking name is, I don't know, that guy.
What are you, a dumbass?
So another case in point now, James Bond. The other day I read that Daniel Craig has reportedly stated he is done with 007. His contract is up. He does not want to do it anymore because the risk for injury is too great. He's getting too old. It would take a phenomenal payday, but the stunts are too demanding. He doesn't want to do it. So they have to pass the torch, and a couple times in the last few years, they threw some names out there. But now it's like, well, what do you want to do? Is it past the time to cast Idris Elba and go Black Bond? Or Tom Hiddleston and go Gay Bond?
Fuck you, buddy.
He's not really gay. He's such a little bitch. And now Gillian Anderson wants to play Bond. She says, yeah, Agent Scully from the X-Files, she's a woman. James Bond's always been a guy. Not that she should be able to because she's got a vagina, but for Christ's sake, how much diversity is too much? Like, are we going to totally flip the script here? Are we going to change Bond girl to Bond guy? Are we going to change out the love interest? Is she going to be a lesbo, or is she going to go after dudes and just like bang a bunch of dudes? Because you got James Bond, who's always been kind of a Lothario. So now you're going to have the whatever they're going to call Jamie Bond. She's going to be a slut. Yeah, cool. So what do you do? You swap out Pussy Galore. You're going to change the name to, Richard Goes In Ya. Think about that one. Giggity. Another big proponent of diversity. Marvel Comics. The comics, not the movies. Because for God's sakes, if you don't pay attention to comics, here's what's happened. Marvel Comics in the 90s only ever had one female lead, She-Hulk, and one black lead, Black Panther. Here's what they've done. They redid like 54 different character properties. So now Thor, girl now. Wolverine, girl now. Spider-Man, black and Puerto Rican now. Hulk, transgender She-Hulk now. Not really. I made that last one up. But I just want you to imagine, though, like the Hulk as a transgender or a cross-dresser, Aren't me a pretty lady in this purple sundress with my green ding-dong tucked back? Would you fuck Hulk? I'd fuck Hulk. I'd fuck Hulk hard and smash his ass. Right? Kind of comical. Fucking stupid. Really. And it doesn't stop with Marvel's print comics, though. Recently, and this is what pissed me off today, new Twitter hashtag going around that's gaining momentum. It's hashtag give Captain America a boyfriend. So they want to turn Captain America gay in the movies. They want Chris Evans to have a boyfriend. And I'm thinking to myself, is this real? You're gonna take the first Avenger and then you're gonna turn him into the first Assvenger. So apparently in the new Civil War film, Captain America 3, Civil War, it's very adamantly established that Steve Rogers, Captain America, has an undying love for his old pal Bucky, a.k.a. the Winter Soldier. And these weird internet American liberals, they won't be happy until they see these two using Cap's shield to deflect rogue jism squirts from Bucky's robotic arm as he gives Cap a hand job. I don't understand it myself. And they're like, well, Captain America loves Bucky so much, though. It's so obvious. They're a perfect couple. That is fucking retarded. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see an Avengers movie where these two are like off fucking each other in the butt and then the alarm goes off and it's time to save the world and they're too busy pulling condoms out of each other's butts and swallowing their antiviral AIDS medication. No, thank you. Yes, he loves Bucky because Bucky's his best friend. They don't need to turn him into the ambiguously gay duo. All right, I have male friends that I love. I love Neil. I love Tim. I love Rick James. Doesn't mean I want him inside me. Doesn't mean I want to fuck him in the butt. And honestly, besides, if anybody in the comic book universe needs to come out of the closet, it's Batman. All right, gallivanting around Gotham with beautiful women all the time, pretending to be a millionaire playboy. I'm calling bullshit on that. Because anybody with eyes can see that old Bruce is not attracted to Catwoman or Poison Ivy or models. All right, he wants boys, delicious boys, young, hairless boys who he can groom and mold into his ideal partner in crime fighting and the erotic. Kind of puts a whole new spin on the old 70s show theme song with Adam West and Burt Ward when you consider the theory, Batman gay, and he's totally in love with Robin, I'm just thinking to myself, butt rape, butt rape, overtime initiated butt rape, hopefully it's lubricated butt rape, pounding on a young ward's prostate butt rape, butt rape, butt rape.
How you fellas doing?
He's not the world's greatest detective. He's now the cleverest member of NAMBLA, which if you don't know what NAMBLA is, Google that shit. They're grown men that like to fuck boys. How would you not think Batman's gay? All right, if you have never seen the show Venture Brothers, there's an episode with a character, Captain Sunshine. He's kind of an analog of Batman and Bruce Wayne. Captain Sunshine He flies around in like a white outfit as opposed to Batman's black, and he's got a rainbow on his chest and sunshine bursts shooting out of his hands and shit. And he's got a boy ward, which I forget what the fucking name of it is, but he's clearly gay and in love with them. Like hardcore gay. So all that cape and cowl stuff Batman's doing, that's just like a superhero take on Eyes Wide Shut. It's like vigilantism in place of kabuki culture. League of Shadows. Yeah, he's a damn ninja. And he will kung fu the shit out of your tight little boyhood O-ring. So, I mean, stop ignoring the obvious and let's retcon all that hetero friendship back into full-blown DC Comics Bukkake Fest. And while we're reimagining various parts of entertainment culture, why don't we go back and reimagine like the Revolutionary War, right? Let's go back into American history for inspiration. You know, so using this standard, you could look back at Benjamin Franklin and the boys sitting down for the Second Continental Congress and see not a group of revolutionaries looking to establish American independence, but rather a gang of sex-starved, closeted homosexuals who wanted to engage in a patriotic circle jerk with white wigs on. How did I create such a perverted reimagining of our nation's history? Easy. I just look back and realize that there were way too many straight white males signing the Declaration of Independence, and in accordance with our current climate of forced diversity, we needed to gay up our nation's history. Hell, why not change it and diversify it more? Why not make John Adams a Cherokee warrior in face paint, masquerading as a Caucasian anti-British imperialist? Why not? Why the fuck not? Problem here is not the change itself, but the seemingly forced inclusion for the sake of reinforcing a facade of progressive thinking. Like, that's what it is. It's not about, oh, we need to do this. Yeah, all the different demographics are changing and people are complaining. It's like a secondary side effect of American culture being proliferated by groups like Black Lives Matter and the ultra-liberals that think that, well, you need to have fewer white males. Everything's too many white males. I look at last month at the Minneapolis Park Board meeting. The chick who's the head of Black Lives Matter shows up. And now this is just like a planning meeting, I believe. There was no option for public forum this time. They have meetings where the public can speak about issues. This was not one of them. And I think her name's Chandra Levy-Pounds. She's the head of Black Lives Matter in Minneapolis, and she can go fuck herself. She's an idiot. She stands up and says, there's too many white people on this board. You need to diversify. And apparently the head of the board, I was told, is a big white lesbo who told her she needs to stop because this is not a public forum meeting. She cannot speak here. She'll have to, voice her agenda in a more appropriate forum. And she said something to the effect of, don't talk to me like I'm a slave, which infuriated the head of the park board, who said, I'm not talking to you like you're a slave. I'm talking to you like you're a childish, interrupting adult. Levy-Pounds, don't talk to me like I'm a child. I'm not a child. Can you just once stop cramming that big black idealistic dick that everybody of color deserves everything for free down our throats? Like, must you do that all the time? Do you have to sit there and be like, well, what about everybody why aren't there enough Hispanic characters on TV? Well, I don't know. Ask NBC. They just tried their own hand at a comedy based upon a fake sitcom or on like a Univision station, and it was called Telenovela. Good cast. Never saw it. Already canceled. Right? I forget. They wanted to they redid The Honeymooners with an all-black cast and just things of that nature. But why do you have to take established properties, flip the script, change everybody's fucking race and gender? Look at what happened with last year's Fantastic Four. Michael B. Jordan, to his credit, he took it like a champ. Cast as the Human Torch. Everybody threw a shit fit because he was black. Now, I don't care that there's a black Human Torch. I just think if you're going to make the Fantastic Four, make it how they've always been. You're trying to appeal to that. Instead of trying to appeal to a broader audience as a cash grab, why don't you start by not insulting the intelligence of your already established fan base? How would people feel if they made Shaft a white guy? If they made Blade a white guy? What if they took the character of Joan of Arc and changed it to a guy and he was Joe of Arc and he was very, very gay? And then just all he did was fuck butts and then fight. Fuck butts and fight. Fuck butts and fight.
Fuck butts and fight. Fuck butts and fight.
There would be like an outpouring of anger from traditionalists. You can't do that. Especially if you try to take a black character and turn it white. They'll be like, why are you whitewashing this character? Why is there a fucking double standard like that? You know, I don't need Steve Rogers, a.k.a. Captain America, to start chugging cock to feel like, all right, yeah, America's really going in the right direction. Gay people can get married without being persecuted. And now, you know, the leader of the Avengers can totally be open about who he is and let anybody he wants fill his butt. Yeah, maybe he wants to get pissed drunk at Iron Man's Tony Stark mansion and get fucked in the ass by Iron Man. Maybe that's the way it is. Oh, maybe he daydreams about the Hulk grabbing his big green dick down his throat, right? What are you doing?
I don't know!
These people are trying to turn Captain America into Brokeback Mountain. I saw Brokeback Mountain. I loved Brokeback Mountain. I didn't watch it because it was a gay cowboy movie. Like, a bunch of people were like, what's this fucking gay cowboy movie about? We're going to watch this shit and then we're going to go burn down some abortion clinics and nail some crosses in some lawns of some colored folks. Fucking darkies. I imagine that's how most of the South handled it. I watched it because it was a love story and they said it was well written. I watched Heath Ledger spit in his hand, wipe it across the helmet of his cock, and then they played the Hitchcock where you know what's going on but you don't see it. That cock went right into Jake Gyllenhaal's ass. All right? He just rammed it and jammed it right into Donnie's Darko. And they had a romance. And that's what was beautiful, is because I didn't sit there and go, oh, this is two guys that are in love. What the fuck? It was a complicated story about a man who was married and had children. And then he met this guy who had him realize that, oh, I have homosexual feelings. And it was a beautiful love story. Spoiler alert! It never worked out for them. At the end of the movie, you find out that Gyllenhaal's character was beaten to death, much the same way that Matthew Shepard was in Utah. If you remember that case, Matthew Shepard was a gay man who was at a bar. He was like 21 or 22, and some local yokels did not like the cut of his jib, dragged him out into the wilderness, tied him up to the fence of a pasture, beat him to death, left him there, took his wallet.
Cocksucker!
So, yeah, I believe much along those lines in Brokeback Mountain with Gyllenhaal's character, like, we're going to go roll us a faggot. Okay. So the movie ends, and then I believe that Heath Ledger's character's name was Enos. He goes to meet the parents of his love interest, Jake Gyllenhaal, and they said that he was beaten to death. He died. So all that time that he spent not making his peace with his feelings and trying to explain it to his wife, who did at one point find out that they were, you know, playing Castle Towers together and pushing each other's shit in. So, interesting fact there. Michelle Williams played his wife. I think that's when they got together, and then they ended up making a baby in real life and being together. So there's that. And in the movie, he goes to the parents' house, finds out that the other character's dead, goes up to his room, grabs a shirt out of the closet, smells it, starts bawling. I will admit this to the internet. I don't give a shit. I cried at that. Because Heath Ledger did an impeccable job of effectively communicating that emotion in a way that it resonated with me. I felt it. What I don't need them to do is try to duplicate that as like a cheap gimmicky effect with superheroes. You know? Like this shit with the all-female Ghostbusters. Yeah, okay, it works, but why not come up with a new superhero that's gay? Why do you have to ride the coattails of an established character? Because you're afraid that right out of the gate your new gay character's not going to catch on? Well, guess what? That's what life's about, taking chances. Go big or go home. Fucking give it a whirl. Don't puss out and try to make something that people already love into something that it hasn't been. Yes, characters evolve, stories can evolve, ideas can evolve, but, I mean, really, Captain America, gay, what the fuck? I mean, are they going to go hand in hand to a Bed Bath & Beyond and pick out some new pillow shams and bath salts for the tub when they sit there together and rub each other's feet by candlelight listening to old Bette Midler albums? I don't know any Bette Midler song titles. Oh, wait, Wind Beneath My Wings. That was a fucking song, wasn't it? Was that her? Or was that the Jew chick with the Barbra Streisand? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Bette Midler. You know, Wind Beneath My Wings. You know that song? Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be. And in this case, they wanted to be gay. I can fly higher than an eagle. I'm just going to bury my face in your chest and stay there forever because I feel so safe. Bucky, I love you so much. Let's bump uglies. No, I don't need that shit. Female Ghostbusters. Why female, right? Why didn't they go all black? Like 3 blacks and a white. Why not just inverse what they had before? I'll tell you why. Because Steve Harvey is too old and out of shape to be wearing a fucking proton pack. That is why. And you can't put Ice Cube, The Rock, and Kevin Hart together in every goddamn movie. You can't do it. Just like, I mean, what are they going to do? Imagine if they had like an Asian Ghostbusters. You know? Who you going to cure? I don't know. I'm scared. Oh, God, there's slime. Oh, do you see the scary ghost? Oh, there's ectoplasm everywhere. Oh, my God. It's so... Oh, God, we need to get the fuck out of here. Oh, fuck this shit. Fuck that, you fucking stupids. I'm not going after no ghost. Fucking giant marshmallow man, you fucking stupid. I don't do that shit. Because it wouldn't fucking work. You know? MTV tried the whole all-Asian cast thing back in like 2001 or 2. I think the movie was called Better Luck Tomorrow. And it was fucking awful. And even Asian people were like, what the fuck is this shit? The last time they had a strong, mostly Asian cast in a movie that actually did anything was Gran Torino. And how the fuck did that go? How well were the Hmongs portrayed in that movie? Clint Eastwood? Get off my lawn, you slope-headed fucks. And now he goes on stage at conventions and talks to chairs and pretend they're the president. Yay, Clint Eastwood! It's kind of the same thing everywhere these days. Local news outlets, you will see that Care 11 in the last year got very diverse. They hired an Asian guy and a black girl and a very, very obvious gay male anchor who will remain nameless. But I'm not talking about Sven Sundgaard, who is gay. Good for him. They just hired a bunch of people, and it's like they had to have one of everything. I hate this shit. Look at the fucking... I mean, the Spice Girls were all white, right? Except for one, black, but they didn't have like an Asian and a Latina. Okay, Fifth Harmony. Google Fifth Harmony. They have this horrible new song called Work From Home or some shit like that. Fifth Harmony is another one of those one of everything type groups. Why do you need to do that? It's a gimmick. Do you really think these girls are friends in real life? No, they're not. I'll tell you why. Because a year and a half ago, one of the members of Fifth Harmony fucking killed herself. And you know what they did? They spent about 6 months being real quiet while they conducted a talent search for a new fill-in member, and they have not mentioned that bitch once. Yeah, they're not talking about that shit, are they? No, because it's an ugly truth. So you were put together by a talent agency, hoping to just make crappy cookie-cutter pop songs as a cash grab. That's fucking bullshit. Just like this whole Captain America Bucky thing, give Captain America a boyfriend idea, in my opinion, is capitalizing on the forefront of the pro-gay culture push. Like, are gay people out there like, why aren't there enough gay superheroes? I don't know, because nobody really dared to try it. But make a new one. Make a new gay character. Do it. It'll catch on. Not because it's gay. I mean, at first, there'll be the curiosity factor where people will check out the whole idea of the gimmick. But if it's hokey, they'll shit on it and they'll cast aside, it'll fail. If it's well written and it's not just like he's Andy Dick in a fucking super suit running around stopping bad guys and basically sexually assaulting them and committing bad flamer puns, you know, it's not what we need. We don't need to keep hammering home diversity. Where I work, all over they said, well, this government entity is far too white, and it does not truly reflect all of the people that it represents. Well, no shit. You can't just give people things because, oh, you're black? Okay, well, we need one of you. So come on. Have you ever been in politics? Tough shit. Council member at large. Fuck that. Come on. Let's go, Blackie. Here's your tie. Here's your agenda. We'll see you at the meeting on Wednesday. Make sure you sit in the second seat from the left because it'll have your name plaque on there. You know, I don't get it. Why do we need to do this? Yes, America's diverse, but we don't need to cram that melting pot mentality into every facet of everything we do. It's like affirmative action, right? I think it should end. I said it's an archaic concept from different times when blacks were greatly disadvantaged, and that was like, what, 50 fucking years ago they came up with that shit? Why do we need it now? We're missing out, and America's becoming mediocre by comparison to our foreign counterparts because they're not as diverse, but they give the jobs to the most qualified person. All right. Yes, there's always cronyism, nepotism, xenophobia seems to play a part in Japan, but you don't need to do that. You don't need to always diversify it up. There's a lot of opportunity for blacks to make sure they graduate high school, go to college. You know, you're not just waiting to see if you make it playing football or basketball or running track. Black academia is huge. There's tons of all-black colleges, and I'm cool with that concept. How would it be if I tried to apply to Howard University and said, hey, you blacks, Black University, you need to whiten it up. There's not enough whites here at Howard University. What the fuck is up with that? And they would look at me and go, Whitey, you have lost your goddamn mind, boy. Yes, I would have. But you can't have these double standards. That's the thing about it. We need more blacks. Okay, well, you know what? I'm not just going to give you a job because you're black. There's enough jobs. I'm going to give the job to the best qualified candidate because I don't want to refill this in a few months if it turns out that you weren't good enough to do it and you only got it through affirmative action. That's not fucking fair. We're diluting the talent pool, and I'm not saying that blacks are bad. They can't be good at jobs, but you shouldn't just give people more points on a hiring background scale because they're a woman, they're a black, they're a Latino. Like, they have put out secretive hiring initiatives in Minneapolis PD for more women, but more Latino women or more blacks. Like, they do that. In policing, it's one thing because Minnesota has the largest Somali community, and if not the biggest, one of the top 3 biggest Hmong communities in America. So we need representatives that can speak that language. What we don't need to do is shoehorn in a dozen of them and go, wow, look at how progressive we are. Really? You can't say we need Chandra Levy-Pounds. You need more black people on this park board. It's not diversified enough. There's too many white people. Well, call me crazy, but if you're on an administrative board working for a government body, you've obviously been around a while, perhaps culled some expertise, maybe earned and qualified for that job. They're not just going to go, okay, well, you've been around for 23 years, sir, but you're white and we need a black or we need a Latino or we need an Asian. So come on in, new ethnic hire. Isn't that fucking patronizing? I would think if somebody said, we were looking to diversify it up, so that's why we're bringing you aboard. You're telling me we only hired you because you're black. We only hired you because you're Asian. We only hired you because you're Mexican. What sense does it make to have hiring practices that focus on diversity when federal law dictates in a job interview you cannot ask people's race, sexual orientation, age, family status, country of origin? There's all these sticky wickets that you cannot hit your ball through, or you will be fucked in the ass federally with litigation. So why then are we allowed to only hire one race or one ethnicity that we're looking for? Targeting people like that. How do we get away with that? And why do we think we need to do it? Now, imagine if there was... It's a well-known fact that the Jewish community is very prevalent in Hollywood. You can pretty much say the Jews run Hollywood. What if there was a studio that said, you know, we really need more Christians. Muslims are getting to be too big in numbers. Christianity's taking all the flack. People shit all over it all the time. And then you've got all this Jewish representation. Where's the Christian representation? Where's the Catholic representation? Where's all that? I'll tell you where it is. It's called Disney. And they've been accused of anti-Semitism. Which is a gag, but I mean, still, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't say, we need to bring some Christians aboard. Let's get a little more Jesus in here. Imagine if a company like Pepsi is like, you know, we've always been a pretty great company, but what if God, him, or herself, see what I did there, endorsed Pepsi? And what if we brought back Clear Pepsi and it was Jesus' choice? What if Jesus himself was holding a Clear Pepsi? That would really sell some Pepsi, wouldn't it? Maybe, but I mean, do you really need to do that? Can't we just be people? Can't we just have superheroes? Like, what they're trying to do with the character of Captain America in this campaign is essentially humanize him more, but it's a fucking comic. So the guy was shot up with a super soldier serum, and he's got all these crazy powers like a heightened immune system and heightened agility and reflexes. And apparently he only needs to sleep between 2 and 10 hours a fucking week. I read about something the other day in some article, like 11 powers you didn't know that Captain America had. That'll blow your mind. Yeah, that's right. I just admitted I got hooked by clickbait.
Gotcha, bitch!
They were looking to pull me in, and it worked. But do you need to humanize these characters? They're fictional. They live in a fictional universe. Why does the fictional universe have to reflect the real universe just for the sake of this all-inclusive, ultra-liberal agenda? That's fucking stupid to me.
Fucking stupid.
I don't need... Okay, if you want diversity, look back at my favorite cartoon of all time, G.I. Joe. I'm just going to rattle off some names. Duke, white guy. Flint, white guy. General Hawk, white guy. Beachhead, white guy. Lady J, white girl. Scarlet, redhead white girl. Snake Eyes, pretty sure he's Asian. Quick Kick, I believe he was a Hong Kong movie star and a karate champion. Asian. Alpine, that was some kind of Latino. Spirit, the Indian tracker guy. Native American. You got Roadblock, black guy. You got Tunnel Rat. He was like Puerto Rican or some shit from New York. I mean, G.I. Joe was always diverse. And ironically, as diverse as G.I. Joe was, back in the day, it was G.I. Joe, a real American hero. When they remade the G.I. Joe movie, they weren't a real American hero. They were an international anti-terrorism organization. More goddamn progressive bullshit! Why can't they be an American hero? Because you're afraid that nobody's going to want to watch the movie? Tough shit. Bust a nut here. You're the one that picked this property to make $100 million fucking franchise out of. So maybe, just maybe, you should shit or get off the pot and take it for what it was instead of having to change it. Like, why do these people that work for these companies think they need to change everything? Huh? Just to make money? Well, here's what you're really saying. I know better than your established fan base. I, not really being a fan of this property, know not a lot about it, but I think I know it better than you, and I think I know what you, the fan, likes. And more importantly, I know what people who could give a shit less and have never heard about this like. So I'm going to go ahead and put my spin on it and fuck it up every which way but loose, and you watch that money roll in. Let me tell you something. G.I. Joe was my holy grail. G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, I think was the first one. I don't know. It fucking sucked. Moose balls. And then the second one, I waited till it was on Redbox because I wasn't making that movie theater mistake again. So I watched it on my birthday. Yeah, happy fuck you to me because that was a steaming pile of Dwayne The Rock Johnson infused bullshit. All right, it was fucking stupid. You ruined my characters. You ruined them. And you tried to Michael Bay the shit out of that property almost and zazz it up to make it a summer blockbuster. Here's a thought. You can make an interesting intellectual property, movie, miniseries, TV show, what have you, based on the military, without having to have a constant influx of action. You don't have to infuse all these battles into it all the time. There was a lot of great storytelling in Band of Brothers, which is one of the greatest miniseries ever made. And look at that. There was action, yeah, but it was more about the drama than the action, really. It was about the actual backstory of the characters. And if you like G.I. Joe, you know that all these characters have very interesting backgrounds. You know, like Roadblock. He talked in rhyme. He wanted to be a chef. Bazooka used to play football, and he chewed bubblegum. And he shot bazookas. Alpine was a rock climber, and Spirit was a tracker and an Indian guide. And then you got Shipwreck, who walked around with a fucking parrot named Polly on his shoulder like he was a goddamn pirate. And I'm pretty sure that Shipwreck was a chauvinist woman hater. But goddamn was he a salty sailor, and he was one of my favorites. Imagine if they did a new He-Man movie, and they're like, well, He-Man's got to be black. You could do it, but who are you going to get to fucking play He-Man who's jacked out of his mind? The Rock? You can't just be The Rock all the time because he's the safe black actor pick because he's muscular. The Rock is half black, half Hawaiian. He's so light-skinned, he's almost white at times. We pick Terry Crews. He's a beast, right? Nah, it doesn't work. Come up with a new black... Why do you have to take everything that the white people have and then black it up or Latino it up or gay it up? Come up with your own shit. Then you could say, look what we did. We made this. We created it. We thought of it. We built it on our own. We earned on it on our own merit. And we're proud of it because we came at it honestly. There was no hidden agenda of forced inclusion. So, I mean, I put out a couple tweets with the hashtag Give Captain America a Boyfriend, calling bullshit on it, thinking that this forced diversity is stupid. However, in the last one, I also included the hashtag I am not a homophobe, because I think the instant that you say, let's not gay up a character, all the finger-pointing shamers come out and the social justice warriors, and they want to say, how dare you? How dare you say we can't make Captain America gay? I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying you shouldn't. I think it's a stupid fucking idea. It's a cop-out. I don't need to see him and Bucky fucking embracing after a very crazy, like, laser fight. Like, say they had to fight aliens. And at the end, they're like, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're okay. Hold me. You hold me. I'm going to run my fingers through your hair. I'm going to rub your shield. Weird. You know, we don't need to do that shit. Imagine if the Ninja Turtles, suddenly two of them decided they wanted to fuck each other. Right? They're supposed to be brothers, technically. Right? So that's incest and gay. Stupid. You don't need to do it. You don't need to make all these gay characters. If you want to see what happens when you gay up a cast and you ruin it, just watch Days of Our Lives. I don't, but my mom does, and I use the internet at their house because I can't afford it here. So it's always on in the background if I'm there around noon on a weekday. Fucking terrible. Nobody ever dies. Shitty writing. Always bringing back old characters. They refuse to be responsibly progressive in their thought. And by that I don't mean, let's diversify it up. They gayed the shit out of a couple characters, and it was just like, why? You know, why? I blame Will and Grace for opening the floodgates because Sean, whatever his name is, was gay and once again flamboyantly gay. And people are like, oh yeah, it's a great character. That's the typographical gay character. He's dancing and he's singing and he's very exuberant, and then he totally is unabashedly unapologetic about how much cock he chugs. We don't need that. America is about everybody. But that doesn't mean that everything needs to reflect everybody. What makes America great is the freedom to be unique and different. It was the Declaration of Independence, not the declaration of kind of like Britain, but not exactly the same thing, because we shunned the crown. So, like if somebody went, well, you know, we really should get back to our imperialistic ways there. We should really crown a king, the King of America. No, I don't think so. Where does it end? You know, it's on the playgrounds of the schools. It's on the TV shows we watch. It's on the college campuses of all the people saying, it's not diverse enough. You need to be more sensitive to everything. Fuck you. And you got comics like Jerry Seinfeld who won't even go and perform on a college campus anymore because he says everybody gets too offended. Someone said to me when I made some crack about the butcher babies online, well, that your joke was a little overtly aggressive towards women, but good comedy is dangerous. Okay, well, if you can't tell jokes in America because you're afraid you're going to be labeled sexist, ageist, racist, it shuts people up. It's strong-arm censorship. You are telling people, you're racist, you can't talk like that, when they're not even saying anything remotely racist. So now if everything's racist, nothing's racist. It's lost all of its meaning. So, much like this campaign to give Captain America a boyfriend, then what are they going to do if they make a movie and those two are together and then it flops? And the fan base is like, fuck you, I don't want to see this shit. And the conservatives are like, I can't take my kids to the next Avengers movie. These two guys are gay. It goes against my religious beliefs. And then you alienate 1/3, if not more, of your audience. Then what are you going to do? Say, just kidding, in Avengers Infinity War Part 2, they're not really gay. They're just really close. Yeah, it seemed romantic, but that's because they're in love with each other platonically. We could never have them be gay. I mean, it's wishy-washy. Don't half-ass it. Either do it or don't do it. But I suggest you don't do it because isn't it almost more sincere in the back of your mind to think, this is a true bond between two friends, and there are some latently homo-romantic overtones, but isn't that what makes it special, is never outright saying it? Does everything have to be literal? Does everything have to be physically spoken? Can anything have an aura of mystique? Leave it ambiguous. And then maybe things just go on the way they are. Maybe give Captain America a boyfriend. Or don't. Right? But if you do it, you go all in. And you don't retcon it if it fails. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It. That handle is at What Do We Call It. You can find the show on Facebook.com/groups/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann, and that's the end.